We're back, people, and today we're bringing on film on Bradley Chubb, Miami Dolphins edge rusher, who is returning to the team. We're going to look over this recent news. He restructured, or he revised his contract, actually took a pay cut in his base salary. We don't know the exact amount yet, so that will decide like how great the news is. I think it's good news overall because, you know, it's got to be a decent amount. We'll see the exact numbers soon enough, but by the time I'm recording this, we haven't seen those numbers yet. They're doing it where, like, he's getting, like, sack and playing time-based incentives to where he can boost that back up. So I really like that style of contract, allowing him to keep it around. And the reason, you know, instead of having to, you know, post June 1st cut him, you get to keep a solid edge rusher who's a good player, because Chubb, good player, had his most productive season the last time he played for Miami. He had ample time to recover, so he should be healthy, which is, you know, a big plus. And now edge is probably your most stacked position with him, Jalen Phillips, and Chop. If that group stays healthy, you have a really, really strong trio. And that's a great group to have because edge is one of the most important positions. It's one of the positions that can just, even if the rest of your defense isn't playing that great, edge is one of those positions that can just take over a game and, you know, completely flip it on its head. Chubb, we're going to look at the strength, weaknesses of his game here. But he does some things really well that kind of mesh well with the other edges on the team. And he's also, another thing, he brings a great leadership factor. He played a big part in Chop's success in his rookie season. Chop gave him a bunch of praise. And this is just like a leader vet move. Same thing with like the Teron Armstead contract. So let's start breaking this down. I think one thing with Chubb is he's a very, like, he's not, like, the reason I'm not as concerned with returning from the Achilles is because usually that affects like the super bendy, flexible rushers. That's not really Chubb's game. Chubb is like a technician. He's got linear explosiveness. I think his first step in that, and when he's like working in a line, his explosiveness is good. He's also just like a nuanced rusher that plays with power and knows how to use his hand. And he's got good body control, balance, core strength, which is a big part. But here he does a good job of softening the edge, which is, you know, he can win around the outside without having to win with bend. Like, he does a good job with his footwork here. He kind of attacks the outside and then gives a slight little foot fire where then now he can lean into this guy, soften the edge, and just open up his hips. And then not also stays tight enough to where he doesn't get chipped by the running back. Uses his hands there and now uses the power. Look at him, you know, with his hips. He extends with the hips. And then he's able to now separate, keep his chest clean. He does a really good job just combining the footwork. Like, he clearly rushes with a plan and just understands how to get after it. Like, there's a lot of guys that just rush out there. And I would almost say it's like disjointed. Like, they don't really know what they're doing. You can just watch their feet. Chubb clearly understands like how to mix his feet with the athletic traits that he possesses combined with the hands. And then he finishes to win around the edge there. You can see in the lower half, he's not really bending or playing with insane flexibility in that lower half. And he's able to finish, get that sack. 2023 was probably his best career season, just like overall. He's also a guy that can win back to the inside with quickness. I think he's got some underrated quickness to his game. We saw him attack the outside half. He does a good job just like really mixing up his bag. You know, working almost down the middle of 79 here. Gives that one stab there and then stabs outside the frame with that foot, which gets this guy to overset just enough, and Chubb's able to cross his face. Also doing this against a guy that has outside help with a chip. Super impressive. So get him to overset. Really good job combining your footwork because he gives him the two-step right here. 1, 2, kind of cut this guy off guard and then explode into him. Use your hands to open him up to the inside and then finish. Like, just really good technical ability from Bradley Chubb. I love that part of his game. That's why I'm a fan of bringing this back, because now edge, also, just with that edge stuff, if you got rid of Chubb, you would have had to bring someone in that could contribute. So this move allows you to keep the edge room the same, probably keep it, you know, probably even better than the edge you would bring in for him, while also able to save money, and now you don't need to add to the room. You could still potentially do it in the draft, but it's not a room you need to add to in free agency. But love the quickness, man. Like, he will take advantage of these oversets. Like here, I believe that's Mekhi Becton for the Jets. Just overset just enough, boom, hit that club, arm over, get upfield with quickness. As you can see, like, he can be so quick with one step. He's not going to bend and change directions all that crazy, but he can do a really good job taking advantage of this stuff. He's also a solid run defender. I wouldn't say the run defense is like a big part of his game, but he I would say usually does his job as a run defender. He can make some plays there as well. Also a guy that can just get, he'll go for the strip sacks. Love this. Hit that swipe on the outside half. Keep your chest clean. Keep swiping. Throw that left elbow back. You want to throw that inside elbow back so that it forces your hips to open up, and then get after the quarterback and then swipe boom, get that hand out, go for the ball. That's just awareness late in game. He was absolutely abusing Mekhi Becton in this Jets game. He was so good in this Jets game. Like, one, just great hand usage, timing he has really good, like, timing and placement with his hands. Constant hand fighting, getting after it, finish. And it's nice because Chop and Phillips are those guys that are, like, the super explosive. Phillips is really bendy and long, and then Chubb is almost like your technician out there. And, like, look at here. All of them have versatility, too. Like, all of them have reps where they weren't aligned at the edge. They were lined up standing up on the inside somewhere, and they can win with quickness and hand usage on the inside versus guards and centers. Like, here, look at this. Look at his timed hands. He's splitting the guard and center, and look at the independent hands. He wins with his hands on both sides. Like, he swipes down with the right hand on this on the guard, and then also is able to use that left hand to keep himself clean on both sides, and then shows core strength and balance to stay up. Sometimes he plays with high pad level, but he still is able to work through it, plays with a hot motor, able to get through there. Good explosiveness. Like I said, linear explosiveness is a big part of his game. He's constantly working. I think he's got quick feet. Really, really nice job there from Chubb. Just going back and watching some of his 2023 film was definitely fun because it was definitely sucked when he got injured at the end of the year versus Baltimore. But man, he's giving people trouble. Like here versus Jordan Mailata, good left tackle. Like I said, him softening the edge, attacking down the middle of someone, which gets him, to not get super high out to the outside, and then he's able to swipe down, hit like a cross chop, and then also swipe down with that outside hand, and then rip underneath. So he has multiple moves in the bag. He's really technical, and then he's not able to, he doesn't have like any insane bend, but he's able to get a pressure on the quarterback, force that check down, and just like good pass rush plan, clearly rushing with moves. Did it to that left tackle a couple times in the Eagles game, who's a good player. Hits that boom, cross chop again, cross chop, club. So he goes with that cross chop with that inside hand, and then club with the outside, and then rip underneath. Hit him with it twice, boom, chop, club, rip. Really good example of that. And then you have some pressure up the middle, and then they meet at Hurts for a hit at the same time and force that, that ball to go wild. So just really, they have guys up front that can create pressure and disruption. I think that's probably the big selling point with the defense right now for the Dolphins. They have to build at other spots, add another linebacker. They really have to add to the secondary. But if there's a selling point for the defense, is they have guys that can get after it with Chubb, Phillips, Chop, and Sealer. And, who knows, maybe even they get Calais back for another year. But man, that's kind of the big plus going into it. Even though they have question marks, that's probably your strongest point as a whole team, honestly. Probably your explosiveness capability on offense, and then your defense, you can pressure the quarterback, which are not too bad things to have. Now it's just building in the rest of the team. But look at this quickness. When quickness overset with Becton, he sees the slide, so he tries to win to the inside, ends up running into the left guard. Even with high pad level here, he's playing almost standing straight up. He's able to still show core strength, balance to work through it, stay on his feet, and then show a high motor, get after it. Wilson throws an incompletion at the feet there. That's just great work. Chubb sticking with it. Wouldn't say a spin move is a big part of his game, but like, man, he's going to continue to fight. He tries to knife to the inside with that club, arm over. Now you're just playing on pure natural instincts, like to just spin out of that and, get that pressure on Dak, force a throwaway. Just really good work. And then there's stuff like this. I think versus the run, he's not going to be a guy like he'll set the edge, but he's not like a big impactful set the edge guy in the run game. But he does do a good job of beating guys with quickness, either cutting to the inside or like when versus pullers, as you'll see. Like here he just snipes to the inside, get underneath, and now you're just seeing the motor chase this down. Like he's the one that gets down here, makes this tackle. Really good job. Love that. That's something that you want with your team. And that's something you have in front. Phillips is probably the best example of it. Phillips never gives up. Chubb's the same way. Chop is also a guy that plays with a high motor, so that's definitely something that you want from that part of your team. And like here's another example. Identify the pulling. Like you got the pulling guard, and then you also got the tight end coming your way. So he's staying patient. He's avoids the first guy. Really good job because he gets down like he's gonna take it on with his left shoulder, inside shoulder, and like anchor against it, but he avoids him. And now like he kind of forces both guys to, almost take his eyes off him. 48 late to react, get to the linebacker. But Chubb just shows quickness, man. He's got some good footwork there. He's very efficient with his feet, like clean footwork, boom, boom, no wasted movement. Nice to see that. He's not going to be the bendy guy, but I think he's got some underrated athletic traits to his game. So yeah, I do like this move a lot. As long as we'll see what the exact numbers end up being. Hopefully it's a decent amount, but so the Dolphins actually have, room to work with this upcoming season. But I like this move because I didn't think either way, like I don't think edge would have been the biggest need with the team, but now it makes like, hey, there's another position where like you're definitely good with your starters. You can still add to it, but you don't have to force anything. At like edge, like there's a lot of premium positions where the Dolphins are kind of fine, like edge, tackle. You definitely want to add depth, but you don't necessarily need to add any like star power, and that's always a nice thing. And here's Chubb just like first some like guys sliding to him, and from his like alignment here, like he's not playing super wide. He's more like a 5. Gets hands on. Just good job fighting with his hands. He's got really good hand placement to keep himself clean. And then now you're just motor, get after it, finish, strip that ball out. Really, really like that stuff from Chubb. So yeah, as we said, this is a good move, I think, for Miami overall. Definitely one that we're gonna see how it plays out, and hopefully staying healthy is key. But he's had 2 years, so he should come back fully healthy. Now, hopefully, he doesn't get injured again. Him and Phillips both should be ready for the start of the season. And you combine that with Chop, and if you can get all now, imagine like this 2023 season, there was plenty of times where the Dolphins were able to get Chubb, Phillips, and Van Ginkel on the field at the same time. Now you have that kind of same thing again, and this will be Weaver's second season for a lot of people. It'll be Chubb and Phillips basically real first season. Phillips got a little playing time, but they'll get their full chance to play under this new scheme. So it should be fun to see how that all plays out and all the different ways that you can potentially use these guys, keep people fresh as well with a rotation. It won't hurt you too much to, have one of them out at times. Should also have a chance to help keep them healthy for as long as possible, which is hopefully they can do that. So if you're new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.